Matthew 12 verse 29 states, "Or else how can one enter into a strong man's house, and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man? And then he will spoil his house." This is true of households, towns, communities, cities, states, and nations. Any philosophy, ideology or government bill to make men weaker is the work of the devil. Strong men with the moral code to provide and protect is what all societies need. People who want more power, they know their first goal is to destroy the family, and to bind the strong man of the house. There are more than enough examples from history which prove this. When the Romans made deals and conquered the Goths and other tribes, one of the stipulations was that the young boys would come back and be either educated or made slaves to the Romans. As the man would be bound if he revolted, the Romans would hurt his child, and the child when he was a man would not grow up in the culture of his father but of the Roman culture. So in one move 2 generations of strong men were bound. When Europeans and later Americans were doing deals and business with the Native Americans, the elders would not want the whites trading alcohol with the younger Native Americans. As it changed how they acted and their attachment to their culture, it broke down the bind that the multiple generations had with each other. The encyclopedia states, "As soon as the liquor trade began, colonists came to believe that it created havoc in native communities." They were right. Indigenous and colonial observers reported that Native Americans who consumed alcohol did so only to become intoxicated. Those who became drunk fought with each other and with members of their families. They eroded the civility that normally characterized relations in indigenous communities. They fell into fires or off cliffs or drowned, and they at times murdered others, thereby opening raw wounds that communities struggled to heal. Not all Indians drank, and surviving records suggest that those most likely to drink to drunkenness and then engage in some form of social pathology were young men, though ample examples of women and the elderly drinking exist as well. Since young men were the community members who often had control of the furs or skins taken during the hunting season, their desire for alcohol had devastating consequences when some of them chose to exchange the rewards of their annual hunt for liquor, which they drank quickly. As a result, poverty became more widespread, thereby diminishing indigenous peoples' efforts to cope with the threats to their cultural, spiritual, and economic existence brought by colonists. It's why the Soviet Union, Nazi and other totalitarian regimes try to break down the family unit. In the Soviet Union, everyone was an informer. And the Soviets would target kids in school to tell on their parents and to say what the parents were saying at home. If the parents were talking bad of the Soviet Union or if they expressed any anti-government sentiment. The point was twofold for the sake of our conversation. One was to destroy the bond between child and father, binding the child to the government over the father. And to destroy just the concept of family and instill in the young generation the sense of the communal family. Which the communal family just meant having no connection other than to the state. The Hitler Youth was an organization you were forced to join as a child. Hitler once stated, "Whoever has the youth has the future." Young German women were indoctrinated with the values of obedience, duty, self-sacrifice, discipline and physical self-control. The goal of girls in this group was to prepare women for motherhood and raise children who would be educated in the ways of National Socialism. These were designed to break down the family bonds and create bonds with the state. In both these countries, the state replaces the strong father. The strong father is belittled in the eyes of the child, as weak and stupid. And thus, the state will be your father. We have shown how states, when they want more power and to control you, they will bind the strong man of the house, and separate the kids from the strong man in order to destroy the house. But there is also the question about your personal life. Your house is also your body and your mind. What is binding you and keeping you from being a strong man? Is it social media, food, alcohol, drugs, greed, envy, lust? It could be thousands of other things or a combination of them. The goal is to be the strong man of the house. You want, when that temptation or the feelings that will try to bind you creeps in, to say, "I will not be bound." The hard part is the devil will try and get at you always. Every second of every day is a fight between what you should do versus what is easy or convenient or temporary satisfaction. And the devil wins a lot. We give in as humans all the time, multiple times a day. We scroll when we should be working, we eat junk food when we should be exercising, we watch TV when we should be reading. This is a warning from Jesus, to be prepared, as someone will be coming to try to bind you. And that bind will also be a way to break you away from your faith. To break you away from God. But you have to resolve that I will be a strong man and no one will enter my house. I will not be weak, I will not be a coward. I will not let someone or something bind me.